So I'm here to chat about the Aslan Commando, Stealth, and Simple harness. So these are three harnesses that we carry by Aslan Leather, which is a queer and trans owned company based in Toronto. They've been open since '92. They're a really beautiful leather making business. And so the first thing I'll say about these harnesses is that they're all functionally the same harness. So for most of this video, I'll just be talking about them as a concept in its entirety. And then we'll talk a bit about the materials at some point of time during this conversation. So yeah, the first thing that I'll say is that, this is the Simple harness that you're seeing right here. The Simple harness is a machine washable harness. We may as well talk about the materials now, I guess. It's a machine washable harness, which is a huge plus because machine washability, especially if the harness is being shared amongst different people, is just a really great way to help maintain the cleanliness of the harness. Whereas leathers and vegan leathers can sometimes be a little harder to keep clean. The other cool thing about this as a machine washable harness is that it's a machine washable harness where the genitals for the person that is wearing the harness can still be accessed easily. Many machine washable harnesses are underwear style harnesses. And so the genitals, while still accessible, are not quite as easily accessible as something like this style of harness. Aesthetically, the other thing that I'll note about these harnesses is that they have a pretty minimalist design, as you can see. So there's a few pros and cons to this. One thing that's nice about a minimalist harness is that it can easily be worn under clothing for folks that are packing to either engage in penetration play or folks that are looking for harnesses that can also double as harnesses to be used for packing products, things like, the New York Toy Collective Pier or Archer. So that minimalist design is lovely. The other nice thing about the minimalist design and the particulars of that design with this harness is that for folks with penises, this is a harness that they can wear in conjunction with their installed genitals. So as you can see here, I've put this harness on this mannequin, so it's raised up a bit. So the person's genitals that they have on their body can also then still comfortably exist in moderate harmony with the harness. So that's quite nice as well for a variety of reasons. The other thing that's great about this harness is that the O-rings are interchangeable. The O-rings are interchangeable on many harnesses, and I'll show you an example of what I mean here. But with this harness, the O-rings are truly interchangeable because there's no backing that's possibly causing puckering or confusion. I'll grab a harness and I'll show you what I mean. So this is the Aslan Jag harness, which is a lovely harness. But what you'll notice is that there's an O-ring that's installed by these and held by these leather flaps. However, if folks want to expand or contract the O-ring that's on the harness, it will end up puckering and pulling in the backing, or it will cause a bit of a collapsing outward if the O-ring is adjusted to a larger size. So this isn't the end of the world, but regardless, it is a pro of that particular type of harness that there's none of that fussiness around changing the O-ring. It's very, very interchangeable. The other lovely thing about this harness style is that it can be worn either as a Jock style or a Gstring style harness. What would be involved in that is removing one of the leg straps. So the way that a Jock style harness works is that there's two straps that pass underneath the body and then wrap up and around the bum and sort of sit around this area. My mannequin does not have a bum, so we aren't going to look at that. What that offers as far as the Jock strap design is a harness that will hold to the body quite well. There's a lot of stability that will come up and around the bum, and it offers a really nice structured feel. But G-string harnesses are also a really positive, lovely harness as well. Some folks really like the feeling of having that strap that can really hug up close against their body. And so in which case, then it's just a matter of removing one of the snapped straps on this end, and then it's also attached somewhat similarly on the other end of the harness as well. So it's just a matter of taking that strap off, and suddenly then you're left with a G-string harness. So that's quite cool. The these harnesses are also quite adjustable. And in some ways, especially with the simple harness, they're somewhat infinitely adjustable, at least as far as the narrowness of the harness is concerned. And then as far as sizing up the harness, again, the range is fantastic. And if someone is seeking a range that is not part of the harness that we carry, we're really happy to collaborate with anyone looking for custom sizing from Aslan Leather. It's not an issue as far as ensuring that, you know, we can access a harness that is sized appropriately for our bodies. So this is fantastic as far as, you know, many times our bodies change size and shape over the course of our lives. And so having a harness that can ebb and flow with that is very lovely. But also it's really nice to have a harness where we can share it with folks and share it with folks that are different shapes and sizes than ourselves. So that's also a big plus in our books. So yeah, so I don't know. I think that otherwise, oh right, the one other thing that's really nice about this harness is that it, because of the way that it's designed, folks that are hoping to use dildos that have balls on them, again, will have really great success being able to incorporate the balls into this harness style. Many harnesses can tolerate balls to some varying degree, but again, I'll say that the Stealth, the Commando, and the Simple harness are particularly adept at being able to handle dildos with balls. So that's super nice. And the last thing that I'll say is, since it's made by Aslan Leather, which is, you know, an indie company based here in Ontario, that all their harnesses also come with a lifetime warranty. So not only is this a lovely indie company that's making really beautiful harnesses designed for a multiplicity of uses, but also they really support their products and they support their customer base. And so that's really fantastic, especially with the beauty of this being one of the more affordable harnesses that we carry, and the fact that, you know, it's got such a great range of resourcing behind the harness as well. So yeah, so as far as the particulars of the material, like I said, the Simple harness is a harness that is machine washable, and I talked a bit about the benefits of that. It's a nylon material, so some folks are not going to like that backpack strappy kind of feel, and that's a personal preference consideration. The other two materials that this harness comes in are leather, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's not really a garment leather, and it's not really a boot leather. It's sort of a mid-range leather. Leather, obviously, lots of folks have strong opinions about one way or the other, and it tends to just be a question of, are you a person that likes to wear leather gear? And if so, then it's a fantastic choice for a leather harness. And the other harness material for the Stealth harness is a vegan leather, which feels a bit like if leather and rubber, you know, commingled and made its own magic little offspring. So in some ways, there's a lot of the same benefits of that sort of that leather culture kind of rubber culture kind of feel. It has really nice. It's a material that has pretty good grip, so it grips well to the body. Same with the Simple harness. There's good grip for the body. The Commando harness, which is the leather harness, is not quite as much grip. It's a little. It will move and shift a little more, but we're talking about some pretty deep nuances. I wouldn't say that it's a notable concern particularly, but for grip I would suggest the vegan Stealth harness first and foremost, because it's got a nice friction to it, and otherwise, yeah, they look exactly the same, so I'm not going to really wag them around with a bunch of straps lying everywhere to say this is what the Commando looks like and this is what the Stealth looks like. They all have a very similar look. The Simple harness is the only harness at this time that has branding that is on the harness. The other two harnesses are both black, but there's no branding on those harnesses. But lo and behold, I'm sure I'll finish making this video and then they'll release a branded version, and this video will be outdated as a result. Regardless, all of this to say, as far as being able to explore harness play that offers the opportunity for a durable, affordable, ethically made, very adaptable, a lot of opportunities to play and explore and see what kind of harness play feels right to each of us. These three harnesses are fantastic harnesses, and yeah, we could actually really not be more impressed with them. And the last thing that I'll mention is, as with any harness where there's a space here where there's not like a piece of leather or fabric blocking it means that this harness is also friendly for double dildo play. So using toys like the Fuse Tango or the Fun Factory Share, it's possible for the person wearing the harness to insert a toy like that into their body and pass the toy through this O-ring for them being able to play with someone else or with themselves using a harness to keep that particular toy in place. So yeah, so that will be my closing statement about how excellent these 3 harnesses are and that we're just such big fans. But if I didn't address the question that you had, please feel free to drop us a line. We are really happy to offer the support and resources that we can around our products. So send us an email, leave a comment, and I hope that you're having a beautiful day.